everybody. So good to see you. How are you going today? Well, this is a bit of an emergency video. It's a bit of a crisis video. And I think we're at a crossroads. And as we look out across the horizon, and across the horizon of photography, I feel like this is the first sign that, in a way, we've all been waiting for, and in a way it relieves some pressure. And in a way it might mean that this domino falls, and hopefully this domino falls on its own. What the hell am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Olympus. By now, all of you, or most of you, might be aware that Olympus has announced that they are trying to sell to a company called JIP. And JIP are well known for a few things, but one thing that they're well known for is the fact that Sony sold their laptop division to JIP in order to try and allow it to survive and prevail. So this is interesting news. Olympus are saying basically, within their own company, and they make microscopes and other medical equipment, within their own company, they cannot streamline themselves enough. They've done more than they can do. They've had something like 3 years in a row of losses in the camera division. And so somehow a solution can be found by selling the camera division to another company which will streamline it more aggressively. So that's the marketing. And I found out about this yesterday on my Instagram feed. They made a post, and then I read all of the comments. There were many comments and all of the responses, and all of them were very, let's say, marketing speak about, don't worry, we're going to make more products and everything's going to be great. But I thought to myself, if the company that started all of this, and I think it was something like 80 years ago, the company that knows their business better than anyone else, how is it that they can sell this to another company that are going to do it better? And the only way companies can come in and do these sorts of things better is that they're aggressive. They have to chop. Now, Olympus's camera division is really not that big. There's not that many products. There's not that much going on. How much chopping is there going to be? And so as my first statement about all of this, I'm not sure what this means for Olympus. And I'm not trying to start a war or a war in the comments or anything like that. But I do think this is a definitive mark on the horizon, a mark on the timeline about both Olympus and their future prospects, which I think are 50-50 at this point. Also, it's a crossroad for the industry. For the last couple of years, we've been talking about the fact that not all camera companies are going to be able to survive what is now happening. And if we talk about the top 8 players, Sony, Canon, Nikon, Panasonic, Olympus, Leica, Hasselblad, I'm sure I've forgotten someone, yeah, let me know. Oh, Fuji. The common consensus is, for some to survive, we need to lose some. We can't keep all of them. So from my perspective, this is the first sign of the shuffling of the deck chairs that the industry actually needed. I'm not an Olympus user, so it doesn't really impact me. This is some of the stuff that we needed to see happen. I've talked in the past about the fact that when people say Nikon's going to go, well, I would say you would see Pentax or Olympus. They would be the sort of companies that you might see fall way before you see someone like Nikon. So this is the landscape we're in. The first big company of the current era is making a significant and major change. This is bad news for some, and I'm sorry for those. And I think it is. I think Olympus will never be the same from this point on. If they survive, it will not be the same. Once you have less players in the market, those that are left get more market share. So ultimately, if we want the industry to survive, we actually need, instead of, say, 8 players, 5 players. And that would be better for those remaining 5 players. So as much as this is very big news, changing news, disturbing news, I think it's important news for the industry as a whole. Micro Four Thirds. So Micro Four Thirds, there's only 2 major players in that space, and that's Panasonic and Olympus. We have Blackmagic and also DJI do make products that use that size sensor as well. So one also has to ask the question around Micro Four Thirds. If you only have one major player left in that space, along with DJI, who I've got a feeling, things are tough for them at the moment because drones are pretty unpopular all over the place. You pretty much have to be a professional now to be able to put them up almost anywhere. Blackmagic's a great company, but their major focus is not cameras. They do all sorts of production-related materials and gear, which is fantastic. So what is the strength of Micro Four Thirds? If I was in that space and I was collecting a lot of Micro Four Thirds glass and thinking about the future and hopefully looking forward to future developments, well, Olympus potentially not being around anymore, that could be a major change. Anyway, this is big news. And I think the last part about this is Olympus right now are very much speaking in the vein of, well, this actually hasn't happened yet. JIP, they haven't actually signed the deal. There's a memorandum of understanding. The deal might not go through. And if the deal doesn't go through, well, what does Olympus do? And we know as a fact they don't want their camera division anymore because they're trying to offload it. And if they don't want it anymore, and it's been losing money for the last 3 years, well, that certainly would spell the end of Olympus. And that's not drama, that's just facts. They don't want it, and if no one else wants it, it's done. So it's a big deal. So for a percentage of users out there, I am very sorry. And for the rest of us, I think it's good news. It's the reshuffling of the deck chairs that the industry needed. But I'd love to know your thoughts. I really would. I think this is a really interesting topic for us. This is what we love. We love taking photographs. We love our cameras. We love our lenses. And we want to be able to continue to invest and grow with our system of choice. And what would it mean to you if you couldn't do that? What would it mean to you if you had to change system at this point in time? What does it mean to you if you are an Olympus user? Do you stay, or do you keep buying stuff? Do you move on from Micro Four Thirds? Do you move to APS-C or to full frame? We now have the rumoured Z5, which is going to probably be a full frame, mirrorless Z camera that's going to be extremely affordable for full frame if it ends up being full frame. The fact that it's a Z5 instead of a Z50 makes it sound like it is going to be full frame. So for people in the Olympus space, there's a lot to lure you to other manufacturers that are doing amazing things for very affordable prices. It's a very interesting time. Please give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear your analysis. What does it mean? Is it good? Is it bad? We'll see. But the horizon, it's changing. Things are changing. And it's really interesting. All right, everybody, as always, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been so good to see you. I look forward to seeing you soon. If this is your first time here, please subscribe. Please share, please like, and I'll see you later. It's a bit cold. It's the middle of winter. Just had a shoot for the last 7 hours. It was a good one. It's a professional one. It was great to do it. And yeah, I'm pumped to actually be out there and working. Hasn't been much of late. Anyway, see ya.